Money problems, optional problem. So this question is just to help you if you need a little bit more explanation after the first example that we've done. This is question number 3 in the practice at the bottom of your handout. So it says the number of socks is 11 less than 3 times the number of underwear. Socks cost $3 each and underwear costs $5 each. If you spent $37 on socks and underwear, how many socks did you buy? So there's a lot of information in this question. So the first sentence, the number of socks is 11 less than 3 times the number of underwear. That is a comparison. It is comparing the number of socks and the number of underwear. So I'm going to highlight that as my comparison sentence. The second part, socks cost $3 each and underwear cost $5 each. That is not a comparison. That is just information, right? It is telling me socks cost $3 and then underwear costs $5. That's it. And then it says we spent $37. $37 is my total. That's what I'm going to use to make my equation with. And it says, how many socks did I buy? So when I'm doing a question, the first thing that we need to do is write let statements to identify variables that we're using. Then we're going to make an equation. We're going to solve that equation. We're going to take our answer from solving and go back and figure out what the question was asking and then write a sentence. So in my question, it says, how many socks did you buy? Which means one of my unknowns is socks. So I'm going to let something be the number of socks. Not the cost of the socks. I already know socks are $3, right? So I don't need to worry about that. I just need to know how many socks are there. But I cannot solve this problem with just one unknown because everything else in here talks about underwear. I also need to let something be the number of underwear. Even though it didn't ask me to solve for it, I still need to use it because it is part of my total and part of my comparison. Okay, so it says in my comparison, the number of socks is 11 less than 3 times the number of underwear. So last thing mentioned is underwear. I'm going to let underwear be X. The number of socks is 11 less than. Less means subtract. Than means that it goes backwards. So we're doing something minus 11. And it's 11 less than 3 times the number of underwear. Number of underwear is X. 3 times that would be 3X. So it's going to be 3X minus 11, right? That's 11 less than 3 times the number of underwear. Okay, so once I have my let statements under control, it's time to tackle our equation. And this is the trickiest part in a money problem, is getting this equation right. So the amount of money we spent on socks plus the amount of money that we spent on underwear is $37 altogether. So 3x minus 11 and x, that's not how much money we spent. That's the number that we bought. In order to calculate how much money we spent, you have to take the number that you bought and multiply it by the price, right? So I would have to take the number of socks times $3 and then the number of underwear times $5. So for the socks, I'm going to do $3 times the number of socks, which is 3x minus 1. Oh, sorry, 11. And then for the underwear is $5. So I'm going to do $5 times the number of underwear, which is X. And then in total, that equals $37. So when you're talking about value, you have to multiply the number by the value. So you have to multiply by $3 and $5. If you're not using the $3 and the $5 in your question, you're doing something wrong. So from here, I have brackets. I don't want brackets, so I'm going to multiply 3 into the bracket. So 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times negative 11 is negative 33. And then 5 times x is just 5x. So I have 9x minus 33 plus 5x, and that still equals 37. So from here, I notice that I have like terms. I have 9x plus 5x. I'm going to add those together to get 14 x's. I still have that minus 33, and that equals 37. From here, I'm going to solve. So I'm going to add 33 to both sides. So 14x equals 37 plus 33 is 70. And then I am going to divide both sides by 14. 70 divided by 14 is 5. So at this point, I often think that maybe I am finished just because we finished doing that calculation. But I do need to remind myself that even though we've done our let statements, our equation, and our solving, we still need to actually find the answers to the question and then write a sentence. So the question was asking, how many socks did I buy? So I could find the number of socks and the number of underwear, but I really only have to find the number of socks. So the number of socks, according to my let statement, was 3x minus 11. And if x equals 5, I'm going to do 3 times 5 minus 11. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 take away 11 is 4. So there were 4 socks. Now, if you wanted, you could also find the number of underwear. And actually, the number of underwear is just x, so it's 5. So there's 5 underwear and 4 socks. And then you could try to check the price if you wanted to do that. But I think I'm just going to try to trust that we did this right and say, therefore, there are, no, I bought. Sorry about that. You bought 4 socks. Now, I don't know if that's pairs of socks or just single socks, but we bought 4 socks.